Well, hello, this is Rochelle, and thank you so much for joining me here again on the Creative Retreat YouTube channel. And today we're continuing with this God Can Faith Art Box, which is the Faith Art Box of October, the kit for October. And I'm going to be journaling in Matthew 4, and I think it's verse 18. That's the key verse here. And it is just so valuable to me because this is the verse that helped me understand where I was supposed to work a few years ago, about 15 or so years ago. I work as an accountant at a church, and I have done so for, like I said, 15 years. And it was a difficult move for me because I had obviously studied, and my parents had expected me fully to go into the accountant field, the auditing field, and that just didn't happen because of this word. I understood what this word meant at that time, and I said, that it was my calling to be the accountant at our church. And our church has since grown into a massive ministry, and it has been never a dull moment. But nonetheless, this verse is where Jesus calls the disciples. And this must have been such a daunting thing for them to leave their current career and to follow Jesus. And I'm not saying everybody should go into full-time ministry at all. Your full-time ministry should be wherever you are, whichever career you have. And if you're a mom who stays at home while her kids are at school, or whatever the situation may be, even there, it's your mission field. It's the mission that you're called into. So today I want to speak about called for his purpose. And so for the art, I am kind of just so excited because I, number one, have this box. And number two, this really is the prettiest kit that I have seen so far. And it's just, I want to use all the stuff and do all the stuff and have all the things to do with this kit. So I'm going to be doing two parts to the art. I'm going to be making this little tag that will have the reflection questions on the back. So I cut it so that it has the reflection questions on the back. And then have this beautiful pattern paper on the front. So this tag's then going to say, called for thy divine purpose. And I'm going to put the crown on there and some washi. And I've embossed this using the Felicity Jane Shea Kit tag stamps. Very cute. I wish I had had the dies too, but it would have made cutting this very easier because I measured all wrong. But anyways, that aside, that is just for the art part on this specific tag. I'm also going to be putting washi over washi and creating the ribbon for this tag, or the little piece that's going to be sticking out at the top of the tag. And I'm going to be putting an eyelet in there. This is also the time to bust your stash, people. We all have eyelets somewhere, and you can use them in all kinds of fun ways still. Okay, so like I said, such a daunting time, and for me, I can relate in a career way to what happened to the disciples here, but they were called to leave all of it, their families, their houses, where they were comfortable, where they were familiar with what happens day to day, and they were asked to follow Jesus. And without, negotiating salary or putting out demands or asking the what ifs, what happens when, every day kind of thing, they left their fishing nets and they followed Jesus. And I, in my head, the same with Esther, this must have been such a daunting task, and they must have been so overwhelmed by this. I would have been, and I don't think these guys were superhuman. Jesus says, they were sinners, and they were tax collectors, and they were fishermen, and everyday kind of people, you and me kind of people. So I can't for a single second think that they were without fear but in obedience, in complete obedience and trust in this man that they hadn't even known. Because remember, Jesus called his disciples at the beginning of his journey in ministry, after the 30 years that he was, being trained. He called these disciples, and so they must not have known him. There was no Facebook page or Instagram page or anything like that. There was no YouTube channel calling those willing. It really was Jesus walking up to these guys point blank, not knowing them from a bar of soap kind of thing, and calling them because he had spent time with God in the morning, and then he went out and called these 12 guys. For the art in my Bible, I'm just going to be using my Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen in an S nib, which is the super fine nib, and this is like a navy color. I think it's ultra something. I'm gonna link that down below. And using some of the stamps of this month's kit and last month's kit, and I'm saying that the disciples were called to leave everything and to follow Jesus. And when I feel like I can't, which is what I so often feel when God calls me to do something, I often feel like I can't, and I'm writing here, remember that God can. And for the God can, I just traced the title of our devotional here from the front page, and quite loved how that came out. I continued on with the gold and navy, and so I surrounded my little verse box with gold, and then sticking down some stickers from the decor sheet. Like I said, I'm pretty much using it all up because I'm loving it, and I kind of just know that I need another of these. And so today I want to encourage you that if you feel like you're called to do something that you don't know how to do, or if you feel like you're called and it's way beyond you, it is, and that's okay. You can't, but God can. And I love how my pastor put it. She said that T at the end of can't is, if you look at it as the cross, that is the exact place where he turned our can'ts into cans, because it's just the cross. It's not us, it's the cross. And so thank you, Jesus, that you give us the ability to do this. And I want to thank you for joining me, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.